Just Like Me family, Michelle here with another in our Meet the Author series. We have a great author today. Natalie Perkins is the author of Best in Me, and she is here to talk to us about her book. Hi, Natalie. How are you?
Hi, I'm well. How are you?
I'm doing really well. I'm so glad you were able to come and talk to us today. Tell us about Best in Me. What made you decide to write this story?
I was just talking to some college friends and saying, you know what? I really want to work on a project, something that's dear to me, something I'm passionate about. And basically, Best in Me, here's a book right here, actually. It's based on my experiences as a transient student who kind of moved around a lot. And then as a teacher, I've been in education for almost 20 years. And I just saw something that was common amongst all the children that I worked with. You know, kids are coming from out of the country, coming with all their wonderful culture and feeling like they have to be forced to sort of assimilate and change into American standards. I wanted to make sure that I highlighted and celebrated all the cultures of students that inspired me to write this book, and to highlight some things about their culture that makes them unique and different. So,
Well, we love that. That's why you're Just Like Me book pick, because we are all about diversity and inclusion and making sure that everybody is represented. So I love that. So tell me more about the actual book. What's the book about?
so the book is about 9 multicultural children. They're all in a counseling class.
Mm-hmm.
And in the counseling class, they have a counselor named Mrs. Patterson. Here she is.
Mm-hmm.
And she tells the children to write a poem that makes them, that talks about how they're unique and how they're special.
Mm-hmm.
And so each child in the book describes what makes them special. And so, for instance, we have a girl here, her hair, she wears an afro. She thinks she's going to get teased for her afro. She realizes that, her afro makes her special. She's unique. She's beautiful. She loves who she is. Then we have a little boy named Mario here. He has an accent. He speaks Spanish. And he actually said, hey, I can translate for my parents. It's not that big of a deal. I actually can use this for my own good and for my family's own good. And then one of the kids in the story that's really, really special to me, special to my heart, is my cousin Sharonda. And she's actually an adult, but she lives with cerebral palsy. And I highlighted her in the book. Here she is right here.
Mm-hmm.
And she was just saying that in her poem, she was saying that even though I live a little bit, I live with cerebral palsy, and the way I may, navigate in the world may look a little different, I could do everything everyone else can do. And she imagines being president of the United States.
There we go. That's awesome. That is awesome. I mean, these books are so important, because every single one of the characters that you mentioned don't often get to see themselves as a main character in a book. We talk a lot about students, of color who don't get to see themselves. We don't talk a lot about students with developmental disabilities, and they are significantly underrepresented in books. And so it's amazing that you were able to include her, and so children who are like her can see themselves represented. Now, this was a big undertaking. Are you working on any other projects right now?
I am. I'm glad you asked. I'm working on a book called Proud to Be. And it's about a girl who comes from Nigeria. Her name's Ufunaya. Look it up, the name, Ufunaya, special name. And she comes to America and she gets teased for her name. And toward the end of the book, she discovers that her name means something so special. And it actually inspires the other kids in the book to find out their name. And it's all about pronunciation, how you pronounce someone's name, because their name's tied to identity. Right. And how it's so important, to learn about people and to respect their culture and where they come from.
I can't wait to read that book. Like that, you will definitely have to share that book when it comes out. That sounds like an amazing book. Like, you have obviously had, like you said, a journey that started in college, where you decided you wanted to do something different. You wanted to put something out there that was going to change lives. And we have people who watch all the time who are wondering, I have a message. I have a story, I have something I can share, but they don't know how to get going. So I always ask if you could speak to someone who is watching you and the beautiful messages and imagery that you're putting out, and they have something that they think can change the world, what advice would you give them for going about putting out that message?
So, advice that I would give anybody that is on their journey of writing a book is to make sure you speak your truth in the book. Make sure it's something that's true to you, true to your life. Because I feel like I put my all into my book, my inspiration, the challenges that my students and myself have experienced. And I feel like a lot of times some people, they want to be too creative. They want to be creative and they make creativity their focus. And I think creativity needs to be coupled with truth and inspiration. And so when you put those two together, you can create something beautiful for the world.
And that's so funny because I'm always looking for books. When I open them and I read them, I see authenticity. And you can always tell who's writing their truth and who's trying to be creative. And some of the books where someone's trying to just be cutesy and creative, they don't make it to the Just Like Me pick section because they're lacking something. So I think that's a great piece of advice. Be authentic and just be and let that speak for you. So I think that's an awesome advice. Where can people find copies of your book?
Well, you can find Best in Me on natalieperkins.org, NATALIEPERKINS.org. Also, you can find it on Amazon, Barnes and Nobles, Target, and anywhere where books are sold online.
And you can also find Best in Me on the Just Like Me pick section on justlikmepresents.com. Hop on over there and take a look and see if it's a book that you would like to add to your at-home library. Natalie, thank you so much for being here today to talk to us about Best in Me. Everybody at home, thank you so much for watching. And remember, if our children can see it, they can achieve it.